Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive guide, and empowerment coach. And I'm here each week with Pick a Spread angel readings for the coming week. So how this works, for those of you that are new to my channel, is I'm going to do 3 different angel spreads, and I'm going to put the timestamps in the comments. And you can just let your intuition guide you as to which reading will be most applicable for you this week, and then click on the timestamp. So I'm going to jump into reading number 1. So as I'm shuffling, for those of you that are picking reading number 1, I want to let you know that tomorrow is a full moon in Aquarius. And this full moon is squaring the planet Uranus. Uranus rules liberation and freedom. It rules unexpected and jarring events. It rules electricity. It rules lightning. It rules networks without a head, meaning like social media. It rules the internet. It rules freedom and liberation. If I didn't say that already, I think I did. This is significant. This is a very powerful full moon, and it is in relationship to all the other very unusual astrological dynamics that have been going on in the year 2020. This is about lifting the rug. It's about pulling up the truth of who and what you are and what you want to experience on this planet, and starting to let that which no longer serves you fall away. This is all pertinent for card reading or angel reading number 1. And the first angel I'm picking is Fiona. The second is Indriel. The third is Crystal. And the final is Celeste. Okay. I used 2 decks and I just spilled a bunch of cards. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Okay. Joining Fiona is the horse. Joining Indriel is the hawk. Joining Crystal is the spider. And joining Celeste is the fire fairy. Okay, so the first position represents the foundational position, what you sit on, what is the platform with which you're going to embark upon this week. And for me, for those of you that picked card reading number 1, it's really about going in new directions as evidenced by the horse. And then Fiona is an angel that says, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving their guidance, their inspiration, and not getting too much in the, well, I want to be this and I don't know how I'm going to get there, or I want to do that and I'm too old to do it. This is really more about moving mentally and emotionally and spiritually in the direction that you want to experience. And then the horse up here will say, it's about delegating authority and accepting help from others. This is really talking about delegating that help to spirit and accepting their help, for those of you that pulled card reading number 1. Because in your opportunity and or your obstacle is Indriel, the light worker, and then there's the hawk. And Indriel, to me, if you look at her, the crown of her head is illuminating, almost like a light bulb. There is an inspiration coming. And if you're too much in worry, you're going to miss the inspiration. So it's time to rise above the situation and sort of sit in an energy of unknowingness. And I want to say this too, because this full moon that I'm talking about, that is squaring this planet of liberation, but also of anxiety and nervousness. So there may be this nervousness that's coming up as you are, literally in a tense energy between your emotional body, who you are on the inside, and then how you show yourself up and your identity on the outside, in the outside world, meaning the sun. And it is your opportunity and potentially your obstacle not to allow, or to allow for, this inspiration. Too much worry will block the inspiration from coming because the focus will be on what you cannot control. Then we have Crystal. in the angel's advice, saying, have faith and hope because there's more on the horizon that you can't see. And then we have the spider. And the spider, for me, will talk about creative projects, but it's always the relationship between the fly or whatever bug gets into the web and the spider. Even though there is a transformation in some ways, a death, it gives life to the spider and is the natural cycle of nature. So to me, this is really about having faith that this relationship, that if there is a death in some way, a death of the way you're viewing a certain situation, or it's transforming in some way, then there is a greater wisdom on the other side of that. Because I say the death of a thought or of a perception or of a perspective, because Celeste talks about a move to a new home or a new place of employment, but I always see Celeste as the way that I think, because I take my actions based on my beliefs, and you can put me anywhere physically on the planet, my beliefs aren't necessarily going to change, so I'm going to take my actions based on that. And then we have the fire fairy, which represents optimism and creative action. For those of you that picked card reading number 1, we're seeing that there is creative inspiration coming, but part of that inspiration is about a shift in the way that you're thinking, and that shift may be something as simple as you're trying to do something and you're not, it isn't about doing something right now, it's about turning over this moment of pause, of reflection, of reevaluation, and allowing the rest to come through so that inspiration may then tell you where your next logical step is. Okay, that's where I'm going. Now I'm going to go on to reading number 2. And while I am shuffling the cards for those of you that picked reading number 2, I'm going to reiterate that tomorrow, August 3rd, here in the United States, is a full moon. That full moon is in a tense aspect to a planet called Uranus. Uranus rules anxiety, it rules freedom and liberation, it rules electricity, it rules systems without a brain like the internet, like social media. And I'm not referring to those that use social media, I'm talking about the apparatus of social media. It rules the 11th house. It's a very humanitarian sign. It rules Aquarius, and this is an Aquarius moon. It's also at the 11th degree. Spirit has shown me, and many others, that the number 11 and any series of ones, 1111, they are to alert the human to be mindful of how you're thinking. What are you thinking? Because your thoughts are manifesting very quickly, and your focus in on something is the mechanism for that manifestation. It creates the momentum. So this full moons are about the ending of something, the culmination of something, and giving birth to a new something. So I want to offer that those of you that picked reading number 2 may very much find that we're talking about perceptions. We're talking about how we think and what this represents and how this sets up our experiences on the planet. So let's see what Spirit has to say. First angel is Archangel Michael, asking us to be courageous, moving towards our life's purpose. Oceana, telling us to lovingly take action. Grace and Antoinette says to be compassionate, and Bridget says to look deeper into our motivations before proceeding. Now let's add the other deck. Okay, Archangel Michael is being joined by the Queen. Oceana is being joined by the Hawk. Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the Deer. And Bridget's being joined by the Love card. For those of you that picked card reading, angel reading number 2, the Queen here does not represent female energy for me. She represents receptivity. She is open-bodied. She is there with what she needs. She has the chalice. The chalice represents, let that beep go by, sorry about that. The chalice represents, again, receiving. It holds water, it holds the liquid. It represents Love in the tarot deck, the cups represent love and emotions. And Archangel Michael right here is not only the angel of protection, but also the angel of courage, courage to move towards what it is that I want to experience, whether it be in love, in career, in health, in enjoyment in general. And it's really not about pushing. It's about thinking of yourself as fertile, as that you ponder these things in a joyous way. You draw them to you. You draw the opportunities to experience them. Because I have Oceana. Oceana is in the opportunity of the obstacle. She is coupled with the hawk, and she says to take action, to lovingly assert yourself towards what it is that you want to experience. But to me, this is, again, it's not about taking a physical action until I check in with what is my emotional body saying. We have water here again. We have water represented in the form of the cup here. We have the whale, which represents our soul's destiny, which is, to me, in the night sky. So I'm swimming up through the light towards the surface, towards the heavens, and I'm reaching for that lovingly as I look for the signs and the omens that what I want to experience, what the depths of my soul chose to experience on this planet, in this incarnation, is viable, and it's on its way. And it may have been taking more time than you really want. You want things to move faster, but the angels are asking you to be compassionate, not only with others around you, but with yourself as you move towards things that others may not know, dimensions of you that they may not be aware of. And as you shift and you grow on this planet, it's about truly being gentle and diplomatic. I could go to the deer and say it's a deer in the headlights, but coupled with this card of compassion, it's a bigger deal. It's about being compassionate with yourself and with others. Spirit has shown me that next to love, the highest form of vibration is compassion. It is something that permeates all living and unliving things. So to me, and we're going to the final position, Spirit is asking those of you that are standing or I'm sorry, who picked angel reading number 2, love is the basis of your manifestation. Love is where you really want to be. And Archangel Michael is saying to be courageous as you look deeply into your motivations as to whether you are receiving what you want in your current situation. And if for some reason you are not receiving what you want in your current situation, it's really about getting deep and really figuring out what that is and how it feels. It's most of the time people manifest things with what they think they can manifest. I'll accept this relationship because it's okay. I would have liked this and I would have preferred that and I would have wanted that, but I'm this age and so I'll just take this because it's what's here. And then years later, that's no longer serves you. So Spirit is really asking you to look deeply into how you're choosing your actions, your thoughts, your perceptions, and are they based on love? Okay, now I'm going to go on to angel reading number 3 for the week of August 3rd through the 10th. So for those of you that picked angel reading number 3, while I shuffle the cards, I just want to tell you, in case you don't listen to any of the other ones, that we have a full moon on August 3rd here in the United States, August 4th if you're other places in the world. And this full moon is in tense and what they call hard aspect to the planet Uranus. Uranus is electric. Uranus is unexpected. It's a little bit like the rug gets pulled out from you. It is also about liberation and freedom. It's also about networks and systems like the internet, like social media, like humanity. It's a very altruistic sign in some ways because it thinks in the bigger picture. It's not always down thinking in the way of the individual human being, what's best for all. So this dynamic is going to come into play along with many other astrological dynamics in 2020. But for now, this full moon is very powerful because it's going to push you in some ways to ask yourself, where do I need to liberate myself? And where do I need to start to look at things from a bigger picture? Okay, so let's get into the reading. First angel, for those of you that picked angel reading number 3, is Archangel Michael. The second is Isabella. The third is Fiona. And the final is Sonia. Joining Archangel Michael is the raven. Joining Isabella is the swan. Joining Fiona is the letting go card, and joining Sonia is the protection card. Okay, so for those of you that picked angel reading number 3, I want to tell you that Archangel Michael is the great protector. I wanted to say that because the protection card is here also, but he's also asking us to have courage in this moment, or asking you, those of you that picked angel reading number 3, to not only believe in magic, but to believe in synchronistic events and in the timing of things. The raven represents synchronicity, magic, and coincidence. And in some respects, I think Archangel Michael is asking you to add up the coincidences so that they can anchor your courage to step into the transformation that is being offered to you here in the form of the swan. This is your opportunity and or your obstacle, because the swan represents our intuitive gifts and developing those intuitive gifts and transforming them into trusting an inner knowing versus a worried mind. And it's time for you, those of you that picked angel reading number 3, to have the courage to step into this vibration, because Isabella says, yes, the timing is right for this, and that a happy outcome follows your happy expectation. And in the angel's advice is Fiona saying, now that you've asked God and the angels for a change, so many of us on the planet have been in circumstances, relationships, jobs that didn't serve our greater happiness. They were a means to an end. And now it's time to truly let go of the means to the end, and to let God and the angels give you evidence that you can trust your intuitive gifts, that when you do trust them and you move towards them through inspired action, you are protected and watched over by those that love you, that have crossed over. For those of you that picked card reading number 3, I want to say that this full moon and the aspect between Uranus and the sun and the moon, this harsh or hard, tense aspect, may make, in some ways, you may feel a little like you're a little nutty, because your intuition is telling you one thing and your brain is telling you something else. And the physical evidence isn't there, but the inner knowing is getting louder and louder and louder. And I believe that inner knowing is spirit trying to protect you from something or decision or an action that wouldn't be congruent with the truth of what you want. And now is a time to allow for the liberation and to be free of whatever has enslaved you up until now. You know, sometimes we get into this cycle of working, and then we get our money and we spend our money, and then we don't have any money, so we do it on our credit cards, and it feels good in the moment, and then we're a bigger slave to that nugget every month. And I don't know why I'm going to a financial dynamic with card reading number 3, but I think it's a metaphor. And somewhere Spirit is asking you to have the courage to start to implement new habits that are focused on long-term effects, not short-term effects. And to trust that inner knowing that's been telling you, yes, the timing is right. And that as I let go, I let God. And then I see the manifestation of their protection. And that protection really feels not so much physical, but emotional, spiritual, intuitively protected. And I want to say this too, because if you believe that you're being protected, then you'll believe the money will be there. You'll believe the relationship will be there. You will believe that whatever exits is for your greater wisdom and your greater happiness. Okay, that's me, Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive guide, and empowerment coach. I'm going to be here every week doing interactive readings for you with the angels. You, as the viewer, will pick whether you read card number 1, number 2, or number 3, meaning reading number 1, 2, or 3. And if you'd like to get a personal reading with me, my information is below this video, and feel free to reach out to me. I'm available all the time. I love this work. It's all I do, and it's all I want to do. So sending blessings to you. I will be back next week with more messages from your angels. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.